Good day, Ma'am and Sir. I am Fiona Mayan Mansa of Group 3 from Grade 12 UMC.
I am Honey Gracie Camacho, and I am from UMC.
I'm Elverian Kainila, and I'm from UMC.
I am Sophia Juliana Jane O. Inosante.
And I'm Angelo Justin Legaspi.
And my name is Rosel Aysangan.
Hi, I'm Maria Regina P. Torricilla.
And Jamaica T. Villamor from UMC.
Our study is entitled Influence of K-pop Fashion Preference on Teenager K-pop Fans. In the Philippines, many teenagers perceive to acknowledge the Korean culture, more specifically to K-pop music, Korean fashion, and Korean drama. Many individuals whom easily adopted the foreign culture compared to support its own local goods, just like clothing, foods, and more. According to the Korean Influence in Filipino Culture 2023, it's important that our appearance doesn't define who we are, and whether we wear any suits of Filipino clothing or Korean fashion, we should still be proud to be Filipino. This study will be worth to indicate the reasons behind how many teenagers nowadays were captivated by the Korean fashion movement. It makes the study more accessible for everyone who's a K-pop fan as well, and provides more opportunity to explore how they choose to follow the Korean fashion instead of exploring more of the local trends in the country. This study will highly beneficial not just for students who are a K-pop fan, but as the future researchers could also continue the study. K-pop now is beginning to spread abroad. It determines how the K-pop affects the student lifestyles. It also aims to determine a strong relationship between K-pop industry and the students' way of life by Trahidi 2022. Furthermore, the research shows more teenagers are engaged in having their uniqueness in terms of K-pop as it gives more vibrant colors and more by Peers 2023. Numerous young people are addicted to K-pop and K-drama and anything else related to Korea. This study shows how they adopt the Korean culture and music from the Korea that may have beneficial influence on teenagers in the Philippines by Labrador 2019.
According to Maniago 2018, due to the Korean novella that gives the local television entertainment, they adopted that it was shown, even though the way it's clothed. The result of this study were for all the Filipinos who were influenced by the Korean style. Many of them were trying to dress like their idol groups.
Many teenagers are very interested in Korean culture, as it gives way to express herself in fashion. K-pop or Korean pop is widely popular among Filipinos, especially the fashion preference. Many Filipinos were inspired to match up their outfits with their favorite idols based on songs, choreography, and many more. Scrive 2022.
Social Identity Theory by Henry Fudge Wells in 1979 analyzes the perception of how teenagers influence K-pop fashion preferences. Henry Tudgell's social identity theory stated that through their social identity, it could give them a sense of belonging in society. It can also boost their self-esteem as individuals to achieve better outcomes. Through the K-pop fandom, they can have their own uniqueness and reflect the fandom aesthetics and cultures.
This study was set to determine the following questions set by two different variables. Number 1, Korean pop fashion. What do you think by having bright colors and unusual styles like streetwear, preppy, androgynous, vintage, uniform-inspired outfits influenced by K-pop fashion change your way of clothing? Number 2, how do teenagers combine the elements of K-pop fashion like hair, color, makeup, shoes, accessories, and more with the traditional clothing to suit their daily routine? And number 3, how do K-pop fashion brands use different platforms influenced by Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to make the teenager be interested in their clothes? For Fashion preference number 1. In what ways does K-pop fashion was so influenced among teenagers nowadays? Number 2. How does K-pop fashion apply to your own preferred fashion styles? Does it give the person confidence? And number 3. How do teenagers adapt K-pop fashion trends to fit their own personal styles?
And now, let's proceed to literature review. South Korean culture, especially K-pop and K-dramas, has gained international attention due to developed social media platforms and the growing acceptance of K-pop among teenagers. This common culture, which originated in South Korea, is growing popular worldwide thanks to its vibrant colors and fun connecting with idols. K-pop is increasingly common in Indonesia, with teenagers willing to spend their income on Korean fashion and related goods. As K-pop spread abroad, fresher fandoms have become captured. This study looks at how K-pop influences college students' habits, including how they dress and what things they buy from idols. The findings reveal a strong link between the K-pop industry and the lives of college students the Korean way. Movement has expanded media channels and early internet access, hence bolstering Korean pop culture. K-pop fashion has gained global attention, influencing Filipinos, particularly youths, in areas such as music and fashion.
The San Pedro Relocation Center National High School Main Campus year 2023 to 2024, senior high school students would be the studies responders. The respondents who were interested in K-pop fashion preference range in age from 16 to 19 years old. Purposive sampling would be used to choose 10 students per grade level. Our purposive sampling requires that the respondents must be lovers of K-pop with an intense interest in K-pop fashion.
RESOL 2012 uses a qualitative interviews to gather data from grade 11 and 12 senior high students. They will conduct a pre-interview using 5 research questions and conduct a pilot interview to understand K-pop influence on fashion preferences.
This study is a qualitative research uses the following approach for data gathering method. Number 1, in-depth interviews. Conduct one-on-one interviews with teenage K-pop fans to explore the fashion preference, the influence of K-pop idols on their fashion choices, and their perception of K-pop fashion trends. Second, semi-structured interviews uses a flexible interview guide with open-ended questions to allow the spontaneous and detailed responses while still covering the key points of the interest. And thirdly, focus group organized the teenagers, K-pop fans to discuss their fashion preference collectively. This setting can stimulate rich discussion and allow participants to build other ideas. And lastly, interview guided questions. Distribute questionnaires with open-ended questions with gather detailed written and responses about fashion preference and influence.
When conducting an interview, the researcher needs to consider ethics when carrying out research in the right way. We must continuous privacy, informed consent, confidentiality, and harmful terms must be avoided. The researcher required culture accept that ethical data usage, representation, and biased participants must be aware of the study and give their consent before participating so it will protect their well-being and ensure that the results of research are reliable and valid. According to National Library of Medicine 2018, after collecting the information needed for a respondent, the researcher will not do data storage by protecting the respondent participant personal information.
Our study will use the qualitative research to specify the influence of K-pop fashion using the following like one-on-one interview that allow us researchers to collect highly information directly from the source using semi-structured interview. Secondly, we use the focus groups to gather data from a specific group of people. And thirdly, we use the case study to generate in-depth information. And lastly, we use audio recordings which are helpful in circumstances where us researchers can predict better results by having the participants be in the moment, but rather than having them think about what to write down or how to formulate an answer.
The findings of our study is divided by 4 figures, which is number 1, coding and categorization, number 2, quantification of teams, number 3, social media influence, and number 4, access and affordability. These figures was made based on the answers of the respondents. This will further show the results and have a better understanding for their responses. In figure 1, it illustrates the interest level of the respondents in K-pop fashion. 41 out of 105 were most highly interested, and 29 each are those who were happy and satisfied. And there is also unhappy, not satisfied, and not interested that we found.
Figure 3 shows the style they most preferred for K-pop fashion. It can be seen from the table that 18 out of 112 responses were given to the K-pop style. However, 8 out of 112 responses were for DIY hacks, and 4 out of 112 for wearing crop top. 3 from the styles had the same results, and 2 responses were given for makeup. Lastly, the figure shows the same results from the streetwear, uniform, outfit, and cardigan. The participants only had a limited clothing styles, which exactly explain why the 3 styles had the same results, and 2 responses only given to the makeup, due to the high maintenance to achieve the preferred look. Figure 5 interprets how the accessibility and affordability of K-pop fashion. 9 out of 15 participants answered they likely preferred using DIY hacks, and 2 out of 15 participants were highly interested in using thrifted items or clothes. As the figure shows, most of the participants had only rely on DIY hacks because of its easy access and more convenient for them to achieve, compared to the thrifted clothing.
Teenagers prioritize affordability for K-pop fashion, often using DIY hacks or do-it-yourself projects to match their outfits for their idols, highlighting the importance of accessibility and their fashion choices. In conclusion, this study explores the impact of K-pop fashion on teenagers, highlighting its growth and potential long-term influence in global and cultural exchange.
In discussion, the research study explores the significance of K-pop fashion for teenagers, revealing that respondents are highly interested in their favorite idols or groups, highlighting the significance of engaging their uniqueness in K-pop fashion. The study also highlights the desires of K-pop fans on social media, as the high demand for K-pop fashion has raised awareness of trends among teenagers. Overall, the findings highlight the unique aspect of K-pop fashion preferences.
Korean pop culture of K-pop has significant influence of Filipinos, particularly on younger generation of Filipinos. Followers of the genre have been exposed to a variety of elements of Korean culture, including Kirsten and Atar via the K-pop soundtrack and the Korean wave. Further, investigation may explore the process manner in which K-pop fashion impact young people in the Philippines. It will be fascinating to investigate, for example, how followers take up and modify Korean fashion, possibly utilizing do-it-yourself (DIY) techniques to replicate classic design. This way indicates a creative rework that showcases Filipino culture preference and resourcefulness rather than just a mindless following of trends analyzing. This aspect will provide a more nuanced understanding of how K-pop acts as a gateway to wider appreciation of Korean culture.
Future researchers can consider using the DIY hacks or thrifted clothes for them to easily match their preferred fashion. Through this technique, they can further continue cooperate the Korean pop fashion style or K-pop fashion that they prefer.